through forward regeneration mode. That means if the machine is running in clockwise direction, you have to brake it first, and then it has to be run in the anti-clockwise direction. So to go from quadrant 1 to quadrant 3, you have to pass through quadrant 2. In quadrant 1, machine is operating in forward motoring mode. In quadrant 2, it is operating in forward regeneration mode. It is slowed down and braked. And once it comes to standstill, then it is immediately taken to quadrant 3, whereas direction of its rotation changes and it runs in reverse motoring mode. Similarly, if you want to take your machine from reverse motoring mode to forward motoring mode, you have to brake it first. So to go from quadrant 3 to quadrant 1, you have to go through quadrant 4. So in quadrant 3, your machine is running in reverse motoring mode. Then you will go from quadrant 3 to quadrant 4, where your machine will be operating as a generator, regenerative braking. Of course, reverse regenerative mode will take place. Machine slows down and it comes to stop. Once it comes to stop, then you move to quadrant 1, where it again runs in the forward motoring mode. So in a nutshell, I can say, to go from forward motoring mode to reverse motoring mode, your machine has to go through forward regeneration mode, where it is stopped. And similarly, to go from reverse motoring mode to forward motoring mode, the machine has to go through reverse regeneration mode, where it will be stopped. And the advantage in forward regeneration mode or reverse regeneration mode is that machine in both the modes is stopped and braking energy is not wasted. It is fed back to the source, because this is electrical way of braking the machine. You are not using any mechanical brake. So to go from quadrant 1 to quadrant 3, your machine has to first pass through quadrant 2. And similarly, to go back from quadrant 3 to quadrant 1, your machine has to pass through quadrant 4. I hope this is clear to you. So therefore, your machine is capable of operating in all the 4 quadrants. So this is called 4-quadrant operation. 4Q. Q stands for quadrant. 4-quadrant operation. And your dual converter, which comprises of 2 back-to-back full converters connected across the load like this, it makes your machine capable of operating in all the 4 quadrants. So your machine, your dual converter, results in 4-quadrant operation of your load. Of course, DC motor. Your DC machine operates, it has a 4-quadrant operation. It's capable of having 4-quadrant operation. Now, this is the power circuit diagram of dual converter. Now, dual converter has 2 modes. One is called circulating current mode and another is called non-circulating current mode. We'll first of all discuss a circulating current mode. Circulating current mode. I'll explain to you what this circulating current mode is. Now, what is the voltage across load? Voltage across load is VD, and that is same as VD1 and that is same as VD2. Your converter C1, for example, if it operates as a rectifier, if converter C1 operates as a rectifier, R stands for rectifier. As a rectifier, this is the polarity of its output voltage, plus minus. At that time, your converter 2, if you operate converter 2 also in the rectification mode, then in the rectification mode, this is the polarity of voltage VD2. Now your VD1 is plus minus like this. As you can see, VD2 will be like this. That will result in a short circuit. There will be short circuit between the 2 converters. Because the converter 1 output voltage is plus minus, converter 2 output voltage will be minus plus. And no power will flow to the load, and there will be a huge short circuit between the 2 converters. To avoid that, to make this VD1, VD2 have same polarity as VD1 and make VD2 equal to VD1, converter C2 has to operate in the inversion mode. So converter C2 has to operate as inverter in the inversion mode. That means if converter 1 is operated in the rectification mode for alpha less than 90 degrees, and it produces output voltage plus minus like this, converter 2 has to operate in inversion mode. For converter 2, alpha has to be, say this is alpha 1, this is alpha 2. Alpha 2 has to be greater than 90 degrees. So in inversion mode of operation, the polarity of voltage, see in rectification of mode of operation, VD2 is like this for alpha less than 90 degrees. For alpha greater than 90 degrees, the polarity of output voltage will reverse. So VT2 will be plus minus like this, and that is what we want. We want this positive terminal like this and this negative terminal like this, and this VD2 we want exactly equal to VD1. So therefore that is why converter C2 has to operate in the inversion mode. Fine. Conversely, if your converter 1 operates in the inversion mode, that is alpha 1 is greater than 90 degrees. In that case, if converter 1 operates in the inversion mode, its average output voltage is plus minus like this VD1. What should your converter 2 operate as? It should operate in the rectification mode. So converter C2 should operate in the rectification mode alpha 2 less than 90 degrees. Because in the rectification mode, output voltage, its output voltage VD2 will also have same polarity, and VD2 will be, you have to adjust the delay angles in such a way that not only polarities are same, their average voltages are also same. So VD2 is equal to VD1. So therefore, whether polarity of output voltage VD1 is like this or opposite, VD2 also should have same polarity, which is possible only if converter C1 is operating in the rectification mode, converter C2 at that time should operate in the inversion mode. And if converter C1 is operating in the inversion mode, converter C2 should operate in the rectification mode. Make it, just remember it, it's very important. And what about firing or delay angles? See, average output voltage of converter 1 or converter 2 should be equal to average output voltage of converter 1. So VD1 should be equal to VD2, which is equal to load voltage VT. Okay, if the two voltages are not same, then again a large circulating current between the two converters will flow and both the converters will get damaged. So average output voltage VD1 should be equal to average output voltage VD2. Okay, so in fact it should be, I should write like this, VD1 should be equal to minus VD2. Because see, this is VD1, for rectification mode of operation, its polarity of voltage is plus minus like this. And for rectification mode of operation for converters, what could have been its polarity of voltage? Plus minus. But we have to make its polarity of voltage same as this. So therefore, you have to operate this in the inversion mode. And in the inversion mode, we call our voltage is negative. See, this converter C1 is operating, say, in rectification mode. Its output voltage is positive. Plus minus is considered as positive voltage. And this converter is, if this is operating, this also is operating in the rectification mode, its output voltage VG2 also will be positive, but polarity will be like this. But what should be our polarity? It should be just reverse of this. So our polarity of VD2 should be same as that of VD1. That means your converter C2 has to operate in the inversion mode of operation. And in the inversion mode of operation, we know that converter average output voltage is taken as negative. It is considered as negative voltage. रेक्टिफिकेशन मोड में जो वोल्टेज एवरेज आउटपुट वोल्टेज होती है बाय कन्वेंशन दैट इज कंसिडर्ड एज पॉजिटिव वोल्टेज एंड इन्वर्शन मोड में जो एवरेज आउटपुट वोल्टेज बाय कन्वेंशन दैट इज कंसिडर्ड एज नेगेटिव वोल्टेज सो VD1 should be equal to minus VD2 like this. So what is VD1? This is a fully controlled converter. We have already derived the mathematical expression for average output voltage of a fully controlled converter in one of the previous lectures. That is 2 root 2 Vs by pi cos alpha 1 is equal to, what is the average output voltage of this converter? This is also a full converter or fully controlled converter. It is minus 2 root 2 Vs by pi cos alpha 2. 2 root 2 Vs by pi, 2 root 2 Vs by pi goes. So this means cos alpha 1 is equal to minus cos alpha 2. This means cosine alpha 1 is equal to cosine of pi minus alpha 2 because it is minus. So cos of pi minus theta is minus cos theta. So this gives alpha 1 is equal to pi minus alpha 2, which means alpha 2 is equal to pi minus alpha 1. This is a very important relation. So alpha 2 is equal to pi minus alpha 1. Very important relation. This gives relation between delay angles of converter 1 and converter 2. So alpha 2 is equal to pi minus alpha 1, or we can say alpha 2 is equal to 180 degrees minus alpha 1. So let us take an example. Let converter 1 operates in the rectification mode and let its delay angle be 40 degrees. So therefore, what will be the delay? Converter 2 should operate in the inversion mode And in order to make average output voltage VD2 equal to VD1, exactly equal to VD1, this relation will be followed. Alpha 2 is equal to 180 degrees minus alpha 1. So that is equal to 180 degrees minus, what is alpha 1? Alpha 1 is 40. So therefore, alpha 2 is equal to 140 degrees. So since alpha 2 is greater than 90 degrees, that means our converter 2 is operating in the inversion mode of operation. Delay angle of converter 1 is 40 degrees. It's operating in the rectification mode of operation and producing an output voltage of magnitude plus minus VD1. And in order that VD2 should have same polarity and same magnitude, same average output voltage, use this relation. This relation gives alpha 2 equal to 140 degrees. Since alpha 2 is greater than 90 degrees, that means this converter is operating in the inversion mode of operation. And at alpha 2 equal to 140 degrees, the average output voltage VD2 will be exactly equal to VD1, so that there is no circulating current between the two converters. And load voltage VD is same as VD1, same as VD2. So this relation can be shown graphically like this. This is alpha. This is VD1 and this is VD2. So it is something like this. Let me first of all draw this. This is for converter C1 and this voltage is for converter C2, VD2. This is VD1, this is VD2. Now at alpha equal to 0, converter C1 average output voltage is maximum positive and converter C2 average output voltage is maximum negative. VD1 is equal to minus VD2. As alpha increases, so this is 0 degree, this is 90 degrees, and this is 180 degrees. As alpha increases, the converter average output voltage VD1 decreases and converter average output voltage VD2 also decreases. Till at alpha equal to 90 degrees, alpha 1 equal to alpha 2 equal to 90 degrees, both output voltages are 0. Then for alpha greater than 90 degrees, this average output voltage of converter C2 will be positive and average output voltage of converter C1 will be negative. Okay, so from 0 to 90 degrees, converter C1 will operate in the rectification mode and C2 will operate in the inversion mode. And from 90 to 180 degrees, converter C1 will operate in the rectification mode and converter C2 will operate in the inversion mode. Their roles are reversed. So this is how we graphically show it. Now let us try to understand operation of this dual converter with the help of waveforms. Waveforms are very important to understand the operation. This is 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi and so on, and this is your source voltage Vs. Now let us assume converter C1 is operating in the rectification mode, and in the rectification mode its firing pulses or control pulses are like this. Let us assume this is alpha. So this is gating current pulse Ig for converter, the thyristors of converter C1. So after alpha electrical degrees, this firing pulse is issued. Since positive half cycle of source voltage is there, the firing pulses are issued T1 and T3. So T1, T3. In the next positive half cycle, again firing pulses are issued to T1, T3, and in the negative half cycles, firing pulses are issued to T2, T4 pair. That's here. T2, T4, and in this negative half cycle also T2, T4. It's very important. This is for converter C1. What will be the firing pulse pattern for converter C2? Let us see. Converter C2. This is for converter C1, and now firing pulse pattern for converter C2, Ig. When converter C1 is operating in the rectification mode of operation, alpha is less than 90 degrees, At that time, converter C2 will operate in the inversion mode of operation, and its delay angle, this is alpha 1, the delay angle alpha 2 will be pi minus alpha 1. This is pi minus alpha 1, वो आपको ये angle देगा. This will be firing angle or delay angle for converter C2. And which two devices? T1 dash and T3 dash. So this is ये delay angle जो है, this is pi minus alpha 1. Total है pi, इसमें से alpha 1 निकालिए, so this is pi minus alpha 1. So this is T1 dash, T3 dash. In the next positive half cycle, this is the firing pulse pattern for T1 dash, T3 dash. During the negative half cycles, the firing pulse pattern is like this. This is for other pair, T2 dash, T4 dash. T2 dash, T4 dash, and this is the next negative half cycle. T2 dash, T4 dash. Okay. Fine. Now, firing pulse pattern is already clear to you. Let me rub, because I don't have enough space here. Let me rub it and draw the other waveforms. I advise you not to rub these. You take the full sheet, and other waveforms will be followed by these waveforms. Since I don't have enough space here, I will rub these firing pulse patterns, but I already know my firing pulse pattern from these lines. Let me draw the waveform for converter output voltage VD1. Now let me draw the zero crossings first. This is pi. Next zero crossing is 2 pi. Next zero crossing is 3 pi. Next zero crossing is 4 pi, and so on. And my load voltage is like this. Let me first of all complete the drawing of these positive and negative half cycles. Okay, fine. Now, converter C1 is operating in the rectification mode. This is the firing pulse during the positive half cycle of source voltage to this pair of devices. So this is I will take it down. Next firing, first you show the firing instance. Next firing instant is somewhere here. Next firing instant is here. Next firing instant is here. Fine. Now from 0 to alpha, this is alpha 1. There is positive half cycle of source voltage at alpha 1, T1, T3 pair is fired. So positive half cycle of source voltage. This pair will immediately go into conduction, and your load directly gets connected across the source, and it receives the positive voltage. In fact, remaining segment of positive half cycle of source voltage, that is this. Remaining segment of positive half cycle of source voltage will appear across the load. And what is our load? Our load is motor. Okay. And then negative half cycle of source voltage will come, but T1 and T3 will continue to conduct, as we already know, and up to next instant of firing. This is next instant of firing, pi plus alpha. So that means from pi to pi plus alpha, load will receive negative segment of source voltage. We already know it. I don't need to explain it again and again. So therefore, from alpha to pi, so load voltage is positive. From pi to pi plus alpha, it is a small segment of negative voltage. And then here T2, T4 pair is fired. Load voltage is again positive from pi plus alpha to 2 pi, and negative from 2 pi to 2 pi plus alpha. So you can continue like this. So therefore, this is my load voltage VD1. Fine. And previously also there is some negative voltage. This is load voltage VD1. What about VD2? Let me draw VD2. Load voltage VD2. VD2 is the voltage output voltage of converter C2, which is operating in the inversion mode of operation. Let me first of all draw positive half cycle See, this is my pi, this is 2 pi, this is 3 pi, and so on. Let me first of all complete this positive half cycle and negative half cycle like this, and then like this. Fine. So inversion mode in the for converter C2, what is my delay angle? My delay angle is this is my delay angle alpha 2, and it is greater than 90 degrees. Sorry. This is delay angle alpha 2. This is delay angle alpha 2, and it is greater than 90 degrees. That means first firing takes place here, and next firing takes place here. Next firing takes place. These are my delay angles. You have already drawn the firing pulse pattern, so you can see from there. There's the next firing. So therefore, you know, first firing takes place here. This is the positive half cycle of source voltage. Here, thyristor pair T1 dash and T3 dash is fired. Your load gets connected to the source, and since source voltage is positive plus minus like this, it receives a small segment of positive half cycle of source voltage. This is load voltage. Assuming the continuous current conduction, then from this firing instant to next firing instant. Where is the next firing instant? Here. Here T1 dash T3 dash will conduct, and T1 dash T3 dash will continue to conduct after next instant of firing, and this is next instant of firing. तो यहाँ से यहाँ तक T1 dash T3 dash continue करेंगे. And then here firing pulse is issued to other pair of devices T2 dash T4 dash. For a small period, load voltage will be small segment of positive half cycle of source voltage, और यहाँ से next instant of firing तक load voltage will be negative. And then again small positive and large negative. So this is your load voltage, and previously also it was large negative. So this is your VD2. But your VD2 is minus V. What is your converter to output voltage? It is taken as minus VD2. This voltage is by convention taken as positive because it is the output voltage of rectifier, and output voltage of inverter is by convention taken as negative. Therefore, अगर आप this is the VD2, अगर आप इसको -1 से multiply करेंगे, you will get minus VD2. So I can show that minus VD2 here itself. For that purpose, I may have to use another color of the pen, if at all I have. So on the same waveform, if this is VD2, I will show minus VD2. देखिए, if this is VD2, इसका negative ऊपर आएगा. This is VD2. This is minus VD2. You can show on same waveform or अलग waveform नीचे बना सकते. Since I don't have space, I will show here itself. So this is minus VD2. और इसके बाद see this is positive, इसको multiply by 1 कर लीजिए, तो ये ऐसे negative हो जाएगी. उसके बाद this is VD2, इसका negative ऊपर है, just opposite of this, इसकी mirror image. और ये segment positive है, ये negative हो जाएगा, just opposite of this. Then you can continue like this, positive, negative, positive, negative. So this red color waveform shows minus VD2. Now average output voltage of VD1 and VD2 is same, equal. This is the average output voltage of converter 1 VD1. Average output voltage of converter to VD2 from that firing alpha 2 is pi minus alpha 1. So that gives constant average output voltage. So VD1 is equal to VD2, that is equal to load voltage. But instantaneous values are not same. Instantaneous values differ हो जाते हैं. Therefore, what I will do, the difference between the two voltages. If I plot the difference between the two voltages, let me show you. I will use another axis. Now, when you find the difference between the two voltages, you have to subtract the two voltages. The difference between instantaneous value of voltage VD1 and VD2, let me call that voltage as VR. VR is equal to VD1 minus VD2. This is यहाँ से यहाँ तक, this is my VD1 और यहाँ से यहाँ तक this is VD2. What is VD1? It is minus VD2 plus है minus, so it is VD1 which is minus this, तो ये minus आ जाएगा, so it will be something like this. So मैं अब draw कर रहा हूँ VR is the resultant voltage which is VD1 minus VD2. जब आप VD1 minus VD2 कर रहे हैं ना, you have to subtract this black waveform from red waveform, not this black waveform. Okay, उसके बाद यहाँ से यहाँ तक this is positive, this is also positive. So this voltage minus this voltage is 0. यहाँ से यहाँ तक resultant voltage 0 है. फिर यहाँ ये positive है और ये negative है. So this minus ये positive ही आ जाएगी. और फिर यहाँ से यहाँ this is negative, this is positive. So if you multiply them, ये ऐसे आएगी. उसके बाद again it is 0, then it is again like this. So this is the resultant voltage, instantaneous voltage. So let me repeat, the average output voltages are same. That means capital VD1 is equal to capital VD2 because alpha 2 is equal to pi minus alpha 1. So average output voltages are same, but instantaneous value of voltages are not equal. So for some time, instantaneous value of voltage, their difference is 0, and if you subtract them, it becomes small positive voltage, small negative voltage, then again small positive. So that means instantaneous value of two voltages, sometimes it's positive, sometimes it is negative. So positive means this instantaneous value of this voltage is more than instantaneous value of this voltage. This will result in circulation of large current from this converter to this converter. The magnitude of current can be so large that it may damage all the devices of the two converters. Similarly, when the difference of the two voltages is negative, that means this voltage, इसका instantaneous value, इस voltage की instantaneous value से ज़्यादा है, and there will be again circulating current between the two converters, and that circulating current may damage the converter. To restrict or to reduce the magnitude of that circulating current, what we do, हम यहाँ break करते हैं and we put a circulating current limiting inductor here. हम एक limiting inductor, उसको हम LR कहते हैं, we place it here. What happens now? Where will this voltage difference will get applied? It will get applied across the inductor, and this inductor acts as a current limiting reactor. So that means during this period, this instantaneous value of this voltage is greater than instantaneous value of this voltage. There will be still circulating current flowing from converter C1 to C2, but its magnitude will be very safe. It will be very, very small because of this inductor. Similarly, during this negative segment of voltage, the instantaneous value of VD2 is greater than instantaneous value of VD1. There will be circulating current between the two converters. Its magnitude is again reduced by this inductor. So circulating current limiting inductor we have to put in the center. So it does not make circulating current equal to 0, but it limits the magnitude of circulating current between the two converters. And this circulating current is because of difference of the two instantaneous voltages, which results in a resultant voltage VR between the two converters. So let us see how 4-quadrant operation results. Now it's very interesting to see how 4-quadrant operation results. 4-quadrant operation. What is the procedure? Now I want my machine to run in forward motoring mode. Number one, I want my machine to run in forward motoring mode. That is quadrant 1, first quadrant. In the first quadrant, torque is positive in the clockwise direction, speed is positive, current is positive, voltage is positive. Average output voltage is positive. That means this terminal should be positive with respect to this terminal. And current is also positive. Positive current means current is entering. Let us call this terminal as A and this terminal as AA. So current enters terminal A. Since current is positive, average output voltage is positive. That means converter C1, you have to operate in the rectification mode with alpha less than 90 degrees. And converter C2, you have to operate in inversion mode with alpha 2 greater than 90 degrees. And we know alpha 2 is equal to 180 degrees minus alpha 1. And if this relation is fulfilled, then average output voltage of converter 2 is exactly equal to average output voltage of converter 1. So this is positive, this is positive. So your load voltage is plus minus Vd, which is same as Vd2, which is same as Vd1. Voltage across motor armature is positive. Armature current is also positive. So torque developed by motor is positive. So it results in, say, for example, clockwise direction. Say torque is in the clockwise direction, machine also starts running in the clockwise direction. So machine operates in the forward motoring mode. Now I want reversal of the motion. I want the machine to go from forward motoring mode to reverse motoring mode. I cannot do that directly. I cannot go from quadrant 1 to quadrant 3 directly. I have to go through quadrant 2. In quadrant 2, regenerative braking should take place. Forward regeneration mode. My machine should operate in forward regeneration mode. That is mode 2, forward regeneration mode. That is quadrant 2. In forward regeneration mode, average output voltage is still positive. So if this is positive, this is also positive. But current should be negative. Negative current means current जो terminal A में जाती थी, it should not go into terminal A. देखिए यह आपका मोटर है, ये मोटर का बैक EMF है. This is A. Positive current means current is going into terminal, which was happening previously. Negative current means ये ID जो है ये बाहर आनी चाहिए. It should come out of terminal. Now this current, when it reverses its direction, that makes current negative, or आपकी machine will operate as a generator, and it will generate the energy, feed that energy back to the source, and regenerative braking will take place. Torque will reverse its direction, and it will put an electrical brake on the machine. Machine slow down हो जाएगी और stop हो जाएगी. That's what we want. Now, negative current means current armature terminal A से बाहर आनी चाहिए. Now, when this current comes out, it has two paths. एक path ये है और एक path ये है. It cannot flow through this path. क्योंकि अगर ये current इस path में flow होगी, it has to flow from cathode to anode. Thyristors will not allow direction of current. Thyristors will not allow current to flow from cathode to anode. The only path for current is to this. क्योंकि यहाँ current जब यहाँ जाएगी, it will flow through this thyristor or through this thyristor first, and it can flow from anode to cathode. Now, in order to make current to flow in this direction, this EB of the motor should be greater than VG2. Okay? Only then current will flow from this to this. If VG2 is greater than EB, then current cannot flow, because current cannot flow from low potential to high potential. So EB to machine ka same ही है, you cannot change that. What you can do, you can reduce VD2. अब converter C2 का VD2 कैसे आप reduce करेंगे? It is operating in the inversion mode of operation. So what you will do, your VD2 is same as VD1, that is VD. अब आपको VD reduce करना है, so that EB is greater than VD. This was operating in the rectification mode of operation, so converter 1 will continue to operate in the rectification mode of operation, लेकिन इसका alpha 1 आप increase करेंगे. जब इसका alpha 1 increase करेंगे, VD1 कम हो जाएगी, और simultaneously converter 2 operates in the inversion mode of operation. इसका alpha 2 आप reduce करेंगे. जब इसका alpha 2 आप reduce करेंगे, this VD2 will also reduce. So VD2 will reduce, VD1 will reduce, and this VD2, VD1, which is VD will become less than EB. Now, since EB is greater than VD1, it is greater than VB2. EB cannot flow in this direction क्योंकि ये converter block करेगा current. The only path for current to flow through this is through this converter. Since EB is greater than VD2 or VD2 is less than EB, now current can flow in this direction. Or this direction, you can see since current is coming out of this. So regeneration, forward regeneration is taking place. Voltage across the load is still positive, but current is negative. So regeneration will take place. Machine slow down हो जाएगी, और ultimately you have to constantly adjust the delay angle, क्योंकि जब machine decelerate हो जाएगी, इसकी speed कम हो जाएगी, और back EMF भी कम हो जाएगा. Back EMF जब कम हो जाएगा, back EMF has to be greater than VD2 always, so that current flows. तो आपको VD2 भी कम करना है. So आपको क्या करना है? Alpha 1 continuously increase करना है, Alpha 2 continuously decrease करना है, so that EB is always greater than VD2 or EB is always greater than VD. So this will happen. या आप तब तक करोगे जब तक Alpha 1 equal to Alpha 2 equal to 90 degrees नहीं हो जाता. जब दोनों Alpha 1 Alpha 2 90 degrees हो जाते हैं, average output voltage is 0, and your machine comes to a stop. By this time your machine has come to a stop. ये stop हो गई. अब इसको reverse direction में ये करना है. it has to rotate now in reverse direction. Reverse direction mein it will now go to quadrant 3. In quadrant 3, average output voltage is negative, current is also negative. So therefore it has to now go to reverse motoring mode. Reverse motoring mode means quadrant 3. In quadrant 3, average output voltage is negative, current is also negative. Now previously average output voltage positive थी, इसको negative बनाने के लिए ये ऐसे होना चाहिए और ये प्लस माइनस ऐसे होना चाहिए और करंट भी नेगेटिव होनी चाहिए. नेगेटिव करंट मींस करंट इसी डायरेक्शन में. करंट एंटरिंग ए इज पॉजिटिव, करंट लीविंग ए इज नेगेटिव, सो इट इज ऑलरेडी नेगेटिव. अब ये वोल्टेज कैसे आप नेगेटिव करेंगे? दिस प्रीवियसली दिस वाज ऑपरेटिंग इन रेक्टिफिकेशन मोड. इन रेक्टिफिकेशन मोड its voltage was positive. Now to make voltage negative, it has to be operated in inversion mode. So C1 has to be operated in inversion mode. That means alpha 1 is greater than 90 degrees. And C2 has to be operated in rectification mode. Alpha 2 less than 90 degrees. ये देखिए C2 जब आप rectification mode में आप ऑपरेट करेंगे, this terminal will be positive with respect to this. And current will continue to flow through this. EB has to be greater than, you have to adjust the delay angle alpha 2 in such a way that VD2 is still less than EB, so that current continues to flow through this converter to the source. Current flows like this. So direction of current is negative. Voltage across the load is now also negative, plus minus. Since current is negative, voltage is negative, torque developed by motor is in the reverse direction, and motor starts running, accelerating in the reverse direction. It will run in the reverse direction, and after some time, suppose you again want direction of rotation to reverse from reverse motoring mode to forward motoring mode, उसके लिए पहले आपको मोटर को ब्रेक करना पड़ेगा. So you have to go to quadrant 4. So I will write here quadrant 4 में क्या होगा? So quadrant 4 में that is reverse regeneration mode. That is quadrant 4. उसमें electrical braking और regenerative braking होगी. In quadrant 4, you can see average output voltage is negative. It was negative in quadrant 3 also, but current has to reverse its direction. Current has to be now positive. Average output voltage negative. That means ये converter आपका converter 7 inversion mode में operate कर रहा था, इसको inversion mode में ही रखिए. और converter 2 rectification mode में operate कर रहा था, इसको rectification mode में ही रखिए, because average output voltage is still negative, but current reverses its direction. करंट पॉजिटिव होने का मतलब है करंट अब ए टर्मिनल ए एंटर होना चाहिए. अब करंट कैसे एंटर होगी? करंट को या तो यहां से आना है या यहां से आना है. करंट कैन नॉट कम फ्रॉम दिस कन्वर्टर, क्योंकि ये कन्वर्टर अगर यहां से करंट आ रही है, करंट हैज टू फ्लो फ्रॉम कैथोड टू एनोड, सो ये कन्वर्टर कंडक्ट नहीं करेगा. सो करंट विल कम एंड एंटर दिस लोड. इट हैज टू कम फ्रॉम कन्वर्टर C1. तो कन्वर्टर C1 से करंट आएगी. सो बिकॉज करंट कैन फ्लो फ्रॉम एनोड टू कैथोड. Current can flow in this direction. It can come from converter C1, but current from converter 2 cannot come out like this, because current cannot flow from cathode to anode. So therefore, current has to now come from converter C1, and that is possible only जब आपका VD1 EB से ज़्यादा हो जाएगा. So आप क्या करेंगे? EB1 कैसे इससे ज़्यादा हो जाएगा? Previously EB was greater. आप alpha 1 जो है वो reduce करेंगे और alpha 2 जो है वो इंक्रीज करेंगे. जब आप अल्फा 1 रिड्यूस करेंगे, बल्कि आप अल्फा 1 जो है यू विल इंक्रीज अल्फा 1, because this converter C1 is operating in the inversion mode of operation and converter 2 is operating in the rectification mode of operation. अल्फा 2 कम करेंगे. अल्फा 1 जब आप इंक्रीज करेंगे, earlier if it was 100 degrees, आप सपोज 120 डिग्रीज पे ले जाएंगे, और जितना आप डिले एंगल बढ़ाएंगे इन्वर्शन मोड में, उतना ही एवरेज आउटपुट वोल्टेज ज्यादा हो जाए. सो VD1 will be greater than EB and current will flow like this. So therefore current will be negative, current will be positive, voltage is still negative. This is reverse regeneration mode, and since power is negative, your motor is generating the power and supplying that power through this converter back to the source. This is reverse regeneration mode. Motor decelerate हो जाएगा और finally steady state पे आ जाएगा, stop हो जाएगा. And then you have to go to quadrant 1. क्वाड्रेंट 1 में फिर से आपकी एवरेज आउटपुट, करंट तो पॉजिटिव है ही, एवरेज आउटपुट वोल्टेज भी पॉजिटिव हो जाएगी। और एवरेज आउटपुट वोल्टेज पॉजिटिव का मतलब है दिस शुड बी पॉजिटिव, दिस शुड बी नेगेटिव, दिस शुड बी, दैट मींस योर कन्वर्टर 1 अगेन हैज टू ऑपरेट एज रेक्टिफायर और कन्वर्टर 2 अगेन हैज टू ऑपरेट एज इन्वर्टर. This is how your control logic circuit has to be, it has to be very intelligent. You cannot do it manually. Your control logic circuit, which can be a microprocessor algorithm, a program, computer program, which will do this, or it can be a digital circuit, a hardware circuit comprising of control logic circuit, electronic circuit, which will do it. Okay, so therefore it gives 4-quadrant operation of converter. This is circulating current mode. Another mode of operation of dual converter is non-circulating current mode. Let me quickly discuss with you non-circulating current mode. Non-circulating current mode. In non-circulating current mode, there is no circulation current between the two converters. And that is possible only if only one converter at a time is operative, another converter is not operating. So either converter 1 is on or converter C2 is on. Either C1 is on or C2 is on. Let us start with first quadrant. Forward motoring mode, FMM. That is quadrant 1. In quadrant 1, average output voltage is positive, current is positive. So your average output voltage should be positive like this. Current should be positive. Positive means current should enter. Therefore, current enter होने का मतलब हुआ current यहाँ से आनी चाहिए and it should enter terminal A. Since current cannot come from this converter. Why? Because if current comes from this converter, it has to conduct from cathode to anode. That's not possible. So there is no possibility of current coming from here. So therefore, current can come from this converter like this. Suppose T1, T3 pair conduct कर रही है, current ऐसे आएगी and it will enter the armature. So therefore, only converter 1 should be on. Converter 1 is on. And in which mode it has to be operated? It has to be operated in the rectification mode because average output voltage is positive. What about converter C2? Converter C2 should be off at that time. And converter C2 तब off हो जाता है जब इसका delay angle 180 degrees होता है. At alpha equal to 180 degrees, average output voltage of converter is 0. तो इसका delay angle 180 degrees कर लीजिए या इसकी फायरिंग पल्स ही सारी फायरिंग पल्सेस विथड्रॉ कर लीजिए. डोंट इशू एनी फायरिंग पल्स टू एनी थायरिस्टर, सो इट विल ऑटोमेटिकली टर्न ऑफ. बट द बेस्ट मेथड इज वी मेक इट्स डिले एंगल 180 degrees. At alpha equal to 180 degrees, you already know none of the thyristors will fire and average output voltage is 0. Output voltage is 0. So converter 1 will be on, it will be operating in the rectification mode of operation, and converter C2 will be off, it will be operating in the, it will be off, it will be at alpha equal to 180 degrees. So this gives forward motoring mode. So voltage, average voltage is positive, that is equal to VD1, and current is also positive. Your machine takes energy from the source, converts that electrical energy into mechanical energy, runs as a motor. Now you have to brake the motor because you now want to go from forward motoring mode to reverse motoring mode, but you have to first brake the motor and then reverse. उसके लिए you have to go from quadrant 1 to quadrant 2. Quadrant 2 is forward regeneration mode. That is quadrant 2. In forward regeneration mode, average output voltage is still positive, but current is negative. That means आपकी voltage positive होनी चाहिए, लेकिन current negative. Current negative का मतलब हुआ current should leave the armature. When current leaves the armature, it has two paths, either this path or this path. अब ये path जो है यहाँ से current flow नहीं हो सकती because if current flows in this path, it has to flow from cathode to anode. That is not possible. So the only path available is this converter. तो ये current इस converter में ऐसे flow होगी like this. Current flows from anode to cathode. So that means your converter C1 should be off. C1 is off. That means alpha 1 should be equal to 180 degrees. और converter C2 on होना चाहिए because average output voltage is positive but current is negative. Negative current means current is coming out of armature and it will the only path for converter will be provided by converter C2, not converter C1. So that means converter C2 should be on. But now your output voltage is positive. It should be plus minus like this. Therefore, your converter C2 should operate in the inversion mode. because if it operates in the rectification mode, इसकी output voltage plus minus ऐसे होगी. In the inversion mode, its voltage will be negative. So it will be operating in the inversion mode, right? This is called quadrant 2. And once your machine operates in quadrant 2, voltage is positive, current is negative. So power is negative means the power is flowing from EB to VD. So it is injecting power back to the source. So that means your machine is operating as generator because EB is greater than VD, and regenerative braking occurs. Torque reverses its direction. Electromagnetic torque, it opposes the motion, and machine slow down, finally it will stop. And when machine stops, now we have to run it in the reverse direction. So therefore you have to go to reverse motoring mode, RMM. That is quadrant 3. In quadrant 3, average output voltage should be negative, current should also be negative. Negative current means again current इससे बाहर ही आनी चाहिए. That means आपका converter C2 ही on हो जाएगा, लेकिन इसकी voltage, average output voltage negative होनी चाहिए. Negative voltage means this terminal should be positive. That means previously it was operating in the inversion mode. Now we have to operate it in the rectification mode. That means converter C1 is still off. Alpha 1 is equal to 180 degrees, and converter C2 is on, but it is operating in the rectification mode, because in the rectification mode alpha is less than 90 degrees and average output voltage is plus minus like this, negative. So negative voltage, you can see negative voltage and negative current. Negative current means current is coming out of this, it's flowing through this converter like this. So it will be like this, current will be flowing like this through this SCR, then this, यहाँ से current बाहर आएगी, then through this positive half cycle और negative half cycle में ये दो pair conduct करेंगे. So therefore converter C1 will be still off, converter C2 will be on, but previously converter C2 was operating in the inversion mode. Now we have to operate it in the rectification mode. We have to reduce alpha to less than 90 degrees. Okay, and finally the reverse regeneration mode, RRM. Reverse regeneration mode means average output voltage is negative, but current should be positive. Average output voltage is negative, that's fine. Current should be positive means current अब enter होनी चाहिए. अब current enter होगी या तो यहाँ से आएगी या यहाँ से तो आ नहीं सकती, because अगर current यहाँ से आती है तो then current has to flow from cathode anode. So obviously current has to come from here. Like for example, अगर T1 conduct कर रहा है, it enters like this. So that means converter C1 on हो जाएगा, C2 off हो जाएगा. C2 is off means alpha 2 is equal to 180 degrees. और C1 on हो जाएगा. But what is average output voltage? Average output voltage negative है. That means C1 को rectification mode में नहीं operate करना है. Rectification mode में ये terminal positive हो जाएगा, ये negative. It has to operate in inversion mode so that this is positive, this is negative. So it has to operate in inversion mode of operation, I. So that when it happens, power is negative. That means your machine is operating as generator. It's injecting energy back to the source through converter C1, and braking, electrical braking happens and it slows down, finally stop ho jata hai, and then you again go to forward motoring mode or run it in the, say, clockwise direction. So this is how it happens in the non-circulating current mode. Why it is called non-circulating current mode? Because at one time only one converter is on, either converter C1 or converter C2. And when converter C1 is on, it is either operating in the rectification mode or inversion mode. At that time converter C2 is off. And when converter C2 is on, it is again either operating in rectification mode or in inversion mode. At that time C1 is off. So in non-circulating current mode, you don't need this inductor also. Only one converter at a time is on, either C1 or C2. Okay. Now out of the two modes, which mode is preferable? Circulating current mode is preferable. You may quickly say, sir, non-circulating current mode is. Why? I will ask you why. You will say because there is no circulating current between the two converters and you don't need this circulating inductor, circulating current limiting inductor. But that's not the advantage. I mean, there are other aspects also you have to see, technical aspects. Circulating current mode is preferred to non-circulating current mode because of following advantages. I will write here advantages of circulating current mode of operation of dual converter. advantages of circulating current mode. इसकी एक एडवांटेज है, नंबर वन, continuous circulating current mode results in CCM, continuous conduction mode of operation. And I told you in one of the previous lectures that when your load is a DC motor, now DC motor can either operate in discontinuous conduction mode of operation, in which case armature current is becoming zero, or it can operate in continuous conduction mode of operation, in which case armature current never goes to zero. And from the point of view of torque, speed characteristics and other advantages, it is always preferable to operate a DC motor in continuous conduction mode of operation than discontinuous conduction mode of operation. Actually, why? Because it's very difficult for me to explain at this stage. We usually teach that to students in electric drives course, either at BTech level or at MTech level. When a DC motor is operating in continuous conduction mode of operation, it is preferable. And when the same motor is operating in discontinuous conduction mode of operation, torque speed characteristics, torque speed characteristics suffer ho jati hai. I mean, what should be the torque speed characteristic? This is torque, this is speed. Torque speed characteristic of a separately excited DC motor should be like this. But in discontinuous conduction mode of operation, it droops. I mean, from no load to full load, the drop in speed is very, very large. This happens in discontinuous conduction mode of operation. So armature current is discontinuous. In continuous conduction mode of operation, speed regulation is very good. The drop in speed from no load to full load is very, very small, just 4 to 5% or 3 to 5%. But if the motor operates in discontinuous conduction mode of operation, there is large droop or large drop in the speed from no load to full load. So therefore, continuous conduction mode of operation of DC motor is always preferred, and circulating current mode always gives continuous conduction mode of operation, because there is always a current flowing between the two converters, either from this converter, or this always gives continuous conduction mode of operation. That is the advantage. And second advantage is smooth and quick transition from one quadrant to another. I mean, if you want to go from forward motoring mode to reverse motoring mode, you have to go through quadrant 2. If your converter is operating in circulating current mode, the transition from mode 1 to quadrant 1 to quadrant 2, quadrant 2 to quadrant 3, quadrant 3 to quadrant 4, and quadrant 4 to quadrant 1, it is smooth and fast. On the other hand, in non-circulating current mode, the transition from one mode to another mode, one quadrant to another quadrant, is not so fast. It's sluggish, and there are transients, and those transients are not preferable. Okay, so from this point of view also, circulating current mode is preferred. Okay, so these are advantages of operating your dual converter in circulating current mode of operation. And because of these advantages, a dual converter is always operated in circulating current mode. That completes our discussions. So therefore, you have seen in this case, your motor either operates in motoring mode, your machine, or in regenerating mode. Okay, if you feed your motor by a single converter, not a dual converter, then for regeneration mode, you see, you have to flip the armature terminals like this, or field terminals, which is impracticable. And if you feed your DC motor by a dual converter, which comprises of two back-to-back full converters, then you have you flipped armature terminals or field terminals? No. You operate your dual converter in such a way that the machine operates in the motoring mode or in the regeneration mode. You don't need to flip the armature terminals. So all the problems which are there because of operating your DC machine by a single converter, those are overcome. And the advantage of dual converter is that your converter is capable of operating in all the 4 quadrants. It gives 4-quadrant operation. So summarizing what we have learned in today's lecture is that why do we need a regenerative braking of a DC machine? Regenerative braking of DC machine is needed in certain applications, like your train. If it is driven by a DC motor, it is going down the slope, down the gradient, or vehicle, it is electric vehicle going down the slope. When vehicle is going or train is going down the slope, because of gravity, its machine motor overspeeds and it generates the energy. Back EMF is more than converter average output voltage, and it supplies energy back to the source. So when it supplies energy back to the source, the braking torque is applied on it, and the speed is it's not allowed to go to very large speeds, and simultaneously the braking energy is not wasted, that's fed back to the source. Another example I gave you of that of a hoist. When hoist goes up, the machine operates in the motoring mode. When hoist comes down, machine operates in the generating mode or regeneration mode. And in the regeneration mode, when the hoist comes down quickly, machine again overspeeds, EB becomes greater than VT, and energy is supplied back to the source. And braking torque is applied so that your hoist does not come down very quickly, it comes down slowly, and braking energy is not quick. Another example I gave, that of a sugar mill. In a sugar mill, for quick braking and for not wasting the braking energy, you go for regenerative braking. The machine which was operating as a motor is operated during the regenerative braking as a generator, so that the generated energy as a generator, it is not wasted, it goes back to the source, and the electromagnetic torque acts as a braking torque and quickly stops the machine and its connected load. So the problem with DC motor, which was fed by full converter, was that for regenerative braking, for inversion mode of operation, you have to flip either field terminals or armature terminals, which is not practicable. So if you want to avoid that, you feed your DC motor, your load, through two back-to-back converters, which is called a dual converter. And in this dual converter, you have seen, you don't need to reverse the armature terminals or feed terminals. That's not required at all. And the motor or the machine is capable of operating in all four quadrants. It gives four-quadrant operation of DC machine. Machine can operate as motor in the forward motoring mode or in the reverse motoring mode. And it can, in order to go from forward motoring mode to forward reverse motoring mode, it has to go through forward regeneration mode, because it has to be braked first. In the forward regeneration mode, the machine is braked, it's slowed down, and braking energy is supplied back to the source. It's not wasted. Similarly, in order to go from reverse motoring mode to forward motoring mode, it has to go through reverse regeneration mode. In reverse regeneration mode, electrical braking or regenerative braking occurs. Energy is supplied back to the source. It's not wasted, and machine stops, slows down, and stops, and then it goes from reverse motoring mode to forward motoring mode. And now this dual converter can operate either in circulating current mode or in non-circulating current mode. We always prefer operation of dual converter in circulating current mode, because in circulating current mode, the circulating current mode always results in continuous conduction mode of operation, which is very good for machine as far as its torque speed characteristics are concerned. And second advantage is that in order to go from one quadrant to another quadrant, the transition is smooth and quick, which is not the case with this non-circulating current mode. Okay, so with this I will end my today's lecture, and I again advise you to go through this lecture, and in case of any doubts, any queries, you are most welcome to ask me the queries, your doubts. I will be pleased to clear your doubts. Thank you.